Am I the asshole for not telling my husband's family that I speak their language? My husband, Peter, 29 male, and I, 27 female, have been married for about 3 years. We have one child together, and I was pregnant with our second child. I'm Western Canadian, while he is from Germany. We lived in Canada for a long time, but because of inflation, moving back to Germany seemed like a better option for us. We bought a nice house in Hanover, where Peter is from. The day after our flights to Germany, we all visited Peter's family. This was the second time I have seen them. The first was on our wedding. They greeted us and brought us inside of the house, fussing over my son. We had dinner and soon we left the house, wanting to settle into our new home. We visited Peter's family often for the next few months, but I had started to realize that they would sometimes speak about me in German. They would make rude comments on my hair and makeup, question my fashion choices, and overall were just very unkind to me. They also said mean things about my pregnant belly, which I was already insecure about. I ended up talking to my husband about this. I told him that I didn't like the way that they were treating me. I said that I hated how my every choice was being judged. He told me that he would talk to his family. The next time that we went to his parents' house, there were no more mean comments. For about 3 months, it was like nothing ever happened. I gave birth to a perfect baby girl, and we named her Lilith. Peter's family was very upset when they heard the name. If you don't know, Lilith means ghost or of the night. We didn't pick this name because of its meaning, but because it is a name that every girl in my family has had for many years. My middle name is Lilith, along with my mom's, my grandma's, and even my great-grandma's. For a while, I didn't visit my in-laws. I didn't want to hear them talk about how I shouldn't have named my daughter Lilith. But yesterday, when we saw them again, it was my mother-in-law's birthday. As soon as we showed up, things started to go badly. Everyone wanted to hold Lilith, which made my mother-in-law upset because people weren't paying attention to her, and it made me overwhelmed. I didn't want people holding her. I was going through a pretty bad postpartum depression, and it was still pretty early to even see people. I let people look at her, but declined when anyone asked to hold her. During dinner, I heard my sister-in-law talking to my mother-in-law in German. I heard her complaining about how she couldn't hold my baby. My sister-in-law even had the audacity to call me, and I quote, a fat, ugly, hokey addict.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
I turned to my sister-in-law and mother-in-law and told them off in German. I basically said that I have always known what they have said about me, but calling me names was the last straw. I also mentioned how I have known German for almost my whole life. The table instantly blew up. People were yelling at me because apparently this was my fault. I left with Peter and we haven't talked to them since. So, am I the asshole?
Oh my God.
No.
That is awesome.
I love this.
Yeah, not the asshole. She was just holding on to that shit for years, just waiting for the moment.
I love this.
And like, of course they exploded because they were caught.
Embarrassed.
Completely.
Ugh.
Wow.
Am I the asshole for taking an Uber home instead of sitting on a man's lap? So my best friend, Sarah, female 22, recently got a new boyfriend, James, male 23. And she is over the moon into him.
Okay.
Sarah is one of the very few people I hang out with. She recently just met in James's friend group, a group of guys, and they invited her to go on a beach trip with them. Sarah begged me to go with and kept insisting I joined even when I declined the offer about 4 times.
Okay.
Eventually, I just agreed to go to get her off my back about being sad and alone. I was told that I would have a ride. Sarah and I were the last to be picked up, and when they pull up, there are 4 guys in a 5-passenger car.
What the fuck?
I see this as my way out. I say, oh, looks like there's not enough room for both of us. You can go enjoy the beach with your boyfriend. I don't mind staying behind. Sarah tells me that it isn't a big deal if she has to sit on James's lap to make it work. Immediately, I fell on edge. Turns out, James was the one driving and said he wouldn't trust anyone else to drive his car. He told me that I would be the one sitting on someone's lap because there's no way that he would let Sarah do that. I don't know these guys at all. I pull Sarah aside and tell her that I'm uncomfortable, thinking that she would help me out. Instead, she encourages me, saying that she thinks I would have fun and maybe even get a date.
Okay.
This is how Midsummer starts.
Oh, shit.
She is so into James and has been talking about this trip nonstop for over a week, so I decided to just do it to make her happy.
No, dude.
2 of the 3 guys in the back, Sarah just sits up front next to James, offer up their laps. I just picked the guy with the most legroom. We live about 45 minutes from the nearest beach, so I thought it wouldn't be too bad, Except that I was told on the drive that we were actually going to a beach an hour and a half away instead.
No.
My mood just becomes more and more sour. I never once relax and eventually find myself quietly fuming once my emotions set in. The boys that I'm squeezed into the back with just talk around me, physically leaning over me constantly, brushing up against me. Once we get to the beach, we set up and I finally find a moment to relax. I eat a sandwich I packed and read a book while Sarah and James are lovey-dovey and the guys mess around in the ocean. I was asked twice about why I only packed a sandwich for myself. Not jokingly either. Not once had I been asked to bring such a thing.
What the fuck? Why would you?
Why didn't you cater this thing that you don't want to go to?
What? What?
When
What?
When it came to the part where everyone was getting in the car, I just told James and Sarah that I had called an Uber to pick me up because I didn't want to sit on anyone's lap for another hour and a half. Sarah tried to argue, but my ride showed up, so I left. I got a call from Sarah a few hours later. She called me a bad friend for ditching everyone. When I told her how the whole day was making me feel shitty, she told me I was being selfish and I had been acting like a bitch all day.
Projection, maybe not about the bitch part, but like
That's just you're being an
I think you're quite selfish if you don't even offer up a space in your car for your friend that you're forcing to go on your beach trip with.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I do not think I deserve that, but I'm also pretty paranoid that I did something wrong. Am I the asshole?
No.
My friend decided to demote me from maid of honor 3 days before the wedding. Where to begin with this? About a year ago, I was asked to be my friend's maid of honor for her wedding that was scheduled for February 1st of this year. I want to also preface this by saying that I'm a college student still, and the bride just graduated in December. Recently, I have planned her bachelorette, gone to her bridal fitting, gone to her bridal shower, and wrote a speech for her wedding, as well as paid for her bridal gift and partially paid for her at the bachelorette since her fiancé and mother-in-law volunteered to cover that part. A week before the wedding, she lets us know that we were required to pay for our own hair and makeup. That was going to cost $150, and that I was also going to need to spend $40 on a hotel the night before the wedding. This was all told to me the week before or last week. I had a problem with this and asked her if I could simply stay at my place the night before and wake up early to head over to the venue or hotel. I had only received a paycheck the week before for $240, so at this point I only had a little over $300 in my bank account. She asked if she could call me and had a very frustrated tone, saying that it would only be $20. I responded that I could do that, but the hair and makeup was going to be a struggle since I was low on funds. I explained to her that my mum is a wedding planner and that typically the hair and makeup is optional, or if it's not, it's paid by entirely the bride's family. I also explained to her that I was going to have to ask my parents for money because of it, in which she said, "I know it's uncomfortable, but I would do it for you." In my head, the difference was that I would not have required her to pay the hair and makeup fee in order to be a part of my wedding. I then asked if it was possible to just pay for just the hair and make my own makeup look as similar as possible to the other girls. She said no, and then said that she did not want to argue and asked, "Are you paying $150 or not?" To which I responded, "I guess I am." A couple of days later, she texts me and asks if I have a chance to talk, in which I promptly reply yes. She calls me and says she's reconsidered my request about paying only for the hair and said that she decided to let me do that, but she thought it was best that I wasn't maid of honor anymore because I sounded stressed and busy on the phone. What? Obviously, this hurt my feelings and I was in complete shock as I had not indicated that I was stressed with anything but money. She said she had discussed with the mother-in-law and others who told her there were more responsibilities to being maid of honor, such as cleaning up afterward. I then responded that I was fine with doing that, but if she did not want me to be the maid of honor anymore, that she was entitled to that. She then replied with, "Thank you. I hope you know we're still good friends," and that she was still looking forward to spending time with me at the wedding. I was shocked and confused. Later on, I realised that that was not okay to do to someone you considered to be your best friend, and I wrote her a text saying so in so many words that I thought she was not being truthful with the real reason she demoted me from maid of honor. She responded a couple of hours before the rehearsal dinner and said that there was stuff that had happened over the past couple of days which had made her think that that was the best decision for her wedding, in which I responded that I was not present over those past couple of days. She responded with, "I understand." I did not attend her wedding, which she also understood. Sounded like she didn't want me there at all after the call we had discussing finances. I am utterly confused and hurt. Is this normal behaviour? And who else has had a similar experience?
Do you know what? I'm really annoyed and fed up here of this new thing people seem to be doing. And I say it's new because I read an article, apparently it's a 2020 thing, where people are no longer talking to each other and expressing and instead using wanting their peace and not, instead of confronting and having discussions and being adult and having open conversations about what could be going wrong. But what they are doing now is being avoidant. And the bride sounds like she was never really your friend. Like,
I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 23% related to my husband.
Oh no.
Hey everyone, I've known my whole life that I am donor conceived. I grew up in New South Wales and my parents were always open about it, so it was never some big secret. I didn't think much about it beyond that, though, until a couple of years ago when my husband and I decided to take an Ancestry DNA test. We thought it'd be fun. Maybe I'd find some half-siblings, and he'd learn a little bit more about his side of the family. Well, we got the results, and I matched with him. My husband is my half-sibling. At first, I thought it had to be some kind of mistake, or maybe I misunderstood something. But no, after looking into it, we realized his dad was also a donor, and no one ever told him. Now, here we are, married for years with 2 kids, and we're still trying to figure out how to process the fact we're siblings. I don't even know how to explain how I feel. It's just overwhelming. I love him, of course, but this changes so much. We've already spoken to a genetic counselor and we're trying to move forward, but it's like everything we thought we knew about our family has been flipped upside down. I just kind of feel lost. Has anyone else here gone through something like this? I'd really appreciate hearing from anyone who has dealt with something similar, or even just your thoughts.
This is so difficult because, like, she's in it. Like, they have children together. They're married. It's not like she found this out 5 months into dating. It's
No.
like, what the fuck do you do
You're
in that
connected.
situation? What do you do about that?
You guys are in it. You're married. You have kids. What's done is done. So we have an update that was posted just a couple days ago. Thank you all so much for your responses, support, and advice. I've taken some time to process, and I wanted to provide an update on where we're at. First, I have been in individual therapy, and I'm working through everything. It's been incredibly helpful to have space to just unravel my thoughts. My husband has also told me that he is open to couples therapy, which is a big step for us, and I'm hopeful it will help us navigate this together. To confirm some things, yes, my father-in-law is the donor, which makes him not only my husband's father, but also mine. It was a lot to take in. We're both really angry that my husband's dad never told him the truth, and at the moment, neither of us are talking to him. It's just too much. We also discovered about 40 other siblings so far, all of whom live nearby. Did not read
That's
this.
another danger, is that, like, if it's all in the same area,
If it's the same community.
it's like, what is she supposed to do? It's not like there was just, she happened to fall in love with the one person. They're in a small community with 42 siblings.
So the update goes on to say, that was another layer of this experience we weren't prepared for. We haven't met them all yet, but knowing they're out there brings its own challenges and questions. As for our marriage, no, we are not divorcing. We love each other and are committed to working through this, but we haven't told our children yet. We plan to get professional advice before we do. This isn't something we want to rush into without understanding the best way to approach it for their sake. I know many of you are a part of the donor-conceived community, and I just want to say that while I'm very aware and involved in spaces like We Are Donor Conceived, and I follow creators like Laura High, Donor Dylan, The Queer Mama, Rachel, strangers like me, DC, Sunny, Evie, Lucas, etc., I'm not interested in speaking to anyone publicly about our situation. I'm really proud of people like Victoria Hill for going public, but that's not what's best for my family right now. Thanks again for listening, for the advice, and for understanding. We're taking this one day at a time.